welcome back to the channel. Today I thought it would be a lot of fun to join in the Get to Know Me hashtag going around YouTube in the coloring community. I haven't been tagged in it by anyone, however, as far as I understand, it is open to anyone who is interested in doing and participating in the tag. So firstly, the tag is done by the lovely Amanda Colors. I will link her YouTube channel in the description below for you so that you can also check out her amazing channel. She's got loads of great videos and color alongs that you might also find very interesting. So basically the hashtag consists of 20 questions and all around more about who you are as a person and your YouTube channel and coloring and all sorts of fun things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in Christl Vogls Ausmalreise, and I'm going to answer the questions while I'm coloring in. So you get a little bit of a color and chat, a color with me kind of thing going on, while you also get to know a bit more about me. So let's have a look. I picked a really great page. I thought this page was really sweet. So I'm going to zoom you in so you get a lot of viewpoints, and it's also easier. And then I'm using Polychromos. I want to test polys on this page because I've been using prisms quite a bit lately, and it would be really nice to be able to use something else. Alright, so now we're all ready to go. I'm going to firstly start off with the grass. Alright, so the first question is, where do you live? Well, at the moment I live in beautiful England. Specifically I live in East Sussex, and we've been in the UK now for about 5 years, and we moved over from South Africa. And yeah, I mean, people ask us, why did we move over from South Africa? Why did we come here? And I guess you could say it was just the right thing for us to do at the time. It was our time to move over and just explore the world a bit more. When did you start coloring? I first started playing with colored pencils in 2013, but it didn't take. At that moment I had a lot going on, having children and all, so my boys were babies or toddlers at the time, and it really just was hands-on. When they weren't at nursery school, I wanted to spend time with them, so I just felt I wasn't ready for coloring as a hobby. I wasn't ready for much as a hobby, to be honest. I was also in a time where I was just finding myself and working out who I was. So yeah, it wasn't the right time, but that time came in 2020 during the lockdown periods. I picked up one of my old coloring books I happened to have nearby, grabbed some pencils I had, and began the process of exploring again. This time I hopped onto Instagram and Pinterest. I think it was more Pinterest than Instagram. And I saw a beautiful picture done by Chris Cheng in the Secret Garden. So I think I went and I either clicked the link or I googled her YouTube channel and just watched how she did it, and then kind of thought, oh well, I've got those colors in my pencil, so let me see what I can match. And I began to match the colors, and yeah, I just took the photo and used it as much as I could for inspiration, and it got me started. And I thought, actually this really could work, because I'd been trying to do drawings like I had done in the past, and every time I sat down to do a drawing, one of the boys would come and need me or needed help with something, so it was a bit difficult to draw. I needed time for my brain to really switch off so I could get the proportions right. And when I had done a drawing, I think before then I'd done a drawing of a tree frog, and it had been so satisfying to sit down and do that drawing. But I remember struggling because of the amount of interruptions I had. So adult coloring became a way of kind of bridging my need to be creative with the needs of my children and my family. So yeah, it's really helped a lot, and that's when I got started, and I began learning and growing, and with the beauty of social media I was able to get more involved into it and began to see there were YouTube channels, and yeah, just one thing led to another. So the rest became history. So that leads to the next question. Why did you start your YouTube channel? Well, in all honesty, I don't have any friends who are interested in coloring. I have amazing friends who enjoy seeing what I color and who think that it's phenomenal what I do with my pencils, and they appreciate the hobby, but it's not their hobby, it's not their thing. And I fully respect that and understand that. So I don't have any coloring friends. So in one way, I wanted to start a channel to help me make friends and get into the coloring community and just be with like-minded people. On the other hand, though, I was seeing different people's beautiful colorings. I was seeing other people's colorings, and I began to compare what I was doing with theirs, and I thought, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But I also wanted to really challenge myself to, for once, believe in myself, to believe that I had what it took to do it, and not wait for someone in my life to come and say to me, you're so amazing, you can do this all by yourself, why don't you explore this. I didn't want to wait around for somebody to say that. I wanted to step out and take, I guess you could say, a leap of faith. So I decided that that's what I needed to do. I needed to show myself that I could believe in myself and see where it would get me, because if I didn't believe in myself, then who would? So it was a bit of a personal challenge. And then it was also a case of I wanted to see how far I could take a channel. I wanted to explore it. I never had a channel before, so the idea of a new challenge really excited me. It would open up video editing, and I could learn different skills, and that was also very intriguing. And I have learned so much. I also do see my channel as a way of getting my hobby to cover itself. And I know that will take time, and it doesn't come overnight. Sometimes the things that I want to get in coloring are quite expensive. If you take pan pastels or Clara Markova's books, or even Tombow water brush pens, they're not the cheapest things to get. And I wanted to give myself an opportunity to have a side hustle and have a way of kind of making some pocket money on the side to support my hobby, and just see where it goes. I have no expectations. I do have goals and that sort of thing, and desires, but I'm just taking it one day at a time and kind of going with the flow on it. So that's the honest reason why I started a YouTube channel. I was just exploring, and I am still exploring. I'm learning a lot. I enjoy the learning process. I've met some amazing people through the channel and on social media. I'm inspired so much by the community and the way people color in, and I've come to really appreciate the diversity of people that really love this hobby. And also I've learned a lot about people and just how we all need to de-stress and kind of have our own way of just dealing with life and its ups and downs. So then we get on to, other than coloring, what do I like to do in my free time? Well, to be honest, I don't have a lot of free time. Much of my time is with my family and just being there for them. So in my free time, if I'm not coloring, I like to watch coloring videos. I also really love to read. The bulk of the books I read, though, are to my children, especially my younger children. My eldest is kind of not at the age anymore where mommy needs to read to him, and that's okay. He's growing up, and I'm very proud of the young man that he is. But my younger two still like it when I read out loud to them, so that's part of our bedtime routine, and I tend to read the most to them. I'm currently reading the Game of Thrones books and watching the TV series. So I do watch TV with my husband at night. I also really love to, I love to be outside, and I love to go for walks. So if we have a gap, that's something I also really enjoy doing, and I appreciate it when my family take me out for a walk and we get to be in nature. Other things I do in my free time, especially during the winter months, is cheer my children on with their rugby, because they play rugby. So I go to their matches and cheer them on and cheer the team on and that sort of thing. But yeah, normally in my spare time it's reading a book or watching TV. I really enjoy, those sort of programs that are stimulating, where you learn something from them. So I enjoy documentaries or glimpses into history. I love history. So yeah, that quite works for me. What do I do for work? Well, I don't actually work. My job is to educate our children. I am a homeschool mom, or in the UK we call it a home educating mom. And for the most part, most of my day consists of me making sure that the boys do their schoolwork, that they're still achieving the things that they need to achieve, that they're motivated for their education, and that can take up quite a lot of time. I am very pleased that we have educated them and gone this route, but it is a full-time job, because motherhood and teaching does blend into each other. Before that, I studied in university psychological counseling. I also did part of my degree in social work. So that is an area I was going into when we decided we actually wanted to have children. And yeah, it's been a good decision for us as a family. However, I've yet to actually work in those professions. When I was working, I worked in finance departments. I would do data capturing or work with accounts, and at one stage I was even doing a little bit of debt collecting, which is not really my scene at all. I don't think it suits my personality. So that was an interesting experience, but I am grateful for it. I'm grateful for the people who took me on, and I learned a lot from it. What are 3 random facts about you? I've been thinking about this one, and it's really difficult to come up with 3 random facts. So let's see. Fact 1, I absolutely love nature. I love being outdoors. I don't enjoy being stuck inside the house day in and day out. It's honestly my worst nightmare. I need to be out in nature. I need to be soaking up the sun. So as a result, winter months are not easy for me because the lack of sunlight, the cold, even in South Africa where it wasn't as cold, it was very brown, and the brownness I struggled with because I wanted to be green. I wanted greenery. I wanted life. I wanted beauty around me, not boring shades of brown that just reminded me of death. So yeah, I love nature, and because of that, spring and autumn are my favorite seasons in the year. And it's really because, that's my second, I suppose, random fact, is that I just love color. I love bright colors. I don't really do muted colors very well. I mean, I have been trying even in coloring, but I'm not getting the muted colors as well as I'd like. I like the vibrancy of things, so even down to my clothes, I like to have my clothes vibrant and not wearing shades of black and shades of white or shades of grey. I just find it depressing for me personally. I enjoy wearing at least one color on my body. So I like color and I like nature. I used to do ghostwriting. So if you don't know what ghostwriting really is when a person writes for somebody else and gets paid for it, but they don't end up owning any of the rights, the copyrights. They basically are paid to do the writing and give away or get money in exchange for the rights. So I did that for at least a year, and I really learned a lot in that time, developed a bit of a writing skill set there, and I really did more content writing and fiction and not fictional, non-fiction based writing. So another random fact about me is that I absolutely love to health and nutrition and exercise and all of that. Now, I wouldn't go to the point of saying that I'm a fanatic, but I really am passionate about eating healthy, exercising, and using food to heal the body, but also living, because I don't believe in abstaining from all sorts of food and then you don't enjoy living. So it's this balance that I really am passionate about. It's staying healthy but still enjoying life and not being unreasonable. But it's a personal thing, and I don't put it on other people because it's my journey, it's my heart. So another random fact about me is that I really love clothes and shoes, especially high heels. I love wearing high heels. Since moving to the UK though, and just the lifestyle we have with homeschool and that sort of thing, I don't get to really wear high heels a lot. they tend to be impractical when you're walking around a woods or anywhere that's overly muddy. So yeah, I tend to have to say goodbye to my heels or wait for my husband and I to get the odd occasion where we can go out on a date and I can wear my heels. But I absolutely love shoes, and I love clothes and looking pretty, and yeah, and shopping. So I like shopping for those sort of things. So that's a lot of fun. So the next question is, what is your favorite coloring book right now? I don't actually know. If I'd had this question last year, I would have said Mythographic Paradise, but at the moment I don't actually have a favorite book. So it's a bit odd this year. Don't really know what's going on with me. What is your favorite coloring medium right now? I would have to say they're my Prismacolors. I've just found them, I find them easy to work with. Polychromos still come as a close second, but I really do love and enjoy my polys and my Prismas. My Prismas I've been colouring with a lot more the past couple of months now, and I thoroughly enjoy them. So that's my favourite colouring medium. How many colouring books have you completed? Oh, that's easy. None. I am too slow a colorist to finish a coloring book, so I don't have any that are complete. Do you have any secret skills? Okay, so I can play piano. I learned how to play the piano as an adult, and I played throughout all 3 of my pregnancies with a very preggy brain, so I had a lot of brain fog and that sort of thing. And I got up the grades. I got up a few grades, but I still can't really just sit at the piano and make up my own thing. I still need sheet music and a lot of practice to play. But I have found since then that it's easy for me to pick up music and sit down and fiddle around with different instruments. So I've recently been helping my son with his tin whistle, and I found it relatively easy to understand and grasp. I also sometimes sit down and play with the kids' drum set that we just recently got, more to kind of like show them how to find stuff on YouTube and sit down and just learn. I would also say, like, I'm really good at teaching myself things. When I want to learn something, I go and find out how to do it, and I learn it. I'm not afraid of just equipping myself with what I need to know. And then another skill I have, I would say, is resources. When I need resources, I find it quite easy to find them. Right. Do you collect anything? The only thing I really collect is coloring books, and that's about it. What is your greatest accomplishment in life so far? Oh, that's another one that I've been thinking a lot about, and how do I phrase it and put it. And I think, it's easy because of how I've chosen to live my adult life. I haven't prioritized things like a career and all of that, just because that wasn't how I started my life. So I'd say, based on the choices I've made, my greatest accomplishment in life has been my marriage and my children. There's a lot I want to be able to instill in my children, and my husband and I, we've been together 17 years now, and you know, life's been life and we've gotten through it together. And I think that's an accomplishment worth celebrating. What is your favorite childhood memory? Oh, I have so many. I loved my childhood. It was very unique and different. But I don't often tell this one particular story. So I grew up in Mozambique in the 90s, from the age of 5 to the age of 13. And in Mozambique, we were very rural. There was no ice cream shops, there were no cinema or shopping malls to go to. You didn't get a lot of you got restaurants, but they were different. You didn't have fast food or any of that sort of stuff. So the one day, we didn't even have a DVD, rent a DVD or anything like that. So one of the highlights would be to go with my dad to the nearby town, and the organization my dad worked for and my mom had a beach house with a borehole well, and that's where we got our drinking water. And bearing in mind that growing up we didn't have regular electricity, we also didn't have running water for most of the time we were in Mozambique. So when we went on holidays, it was like amazing, because you could turn on the taps and there was running water, and you could switch on the lights and there was light, and not to mention you could just sit and watch TV for as long as you wanted to, or as long as mom and dad allowed. So anyway, I'm getting to my favorite childhood memory, or one of them. One day he took us to one of the local shops in the nearby town, and they had a machine with soft serve ice cream. Now this was something we only got when we went on holiday to South Africa, and that was only twice a year. So the fact that we could have ice cream in the middle of Mozambique in summer, where it is an easy 35 to 40 degrees Celsius in the sun, if not sometimes it was even that hot in the shade. This for us as kids was amazing. We didn't have to wait till we went on holiday. We could have ice cream. So we got our soft serve ice cream in a cone. I had my favorite chocolate, and my sister and I climbed back into the I suppose Americans would call it the back of the truck. In South Africa we call it a bakkie. I suppose in the UK you would call it a van. So we got into the back of the van and we drove home. We're sitting with the windows open, eating our ice cream, and we have to eat this fast because it's literally melting down the side of the cone as we're walking towards the van, because the sun is so hot and it's just a huge mess. But it was such a treat to be able to have ice cream that we didn't care that this ice cream was literally melting faster than we could eat it, because it was ice cream in Mozambique in the 90s when you couldn't get ice cream. So I think it was the first and last time we did that, because it just wasn't very practical. But yeah, that was a cool experience. So that would be one of my favorite childhood memories. What am I passionate about? I am passionate about people. I am passionate about people knowing that they're deeply and truly loved just for who they are. So that thing of working towards acceptance of others, listening to people and making sure they feel heard and seen and validated, that they know that what they have to say is important, and that they're treasured is really important to me, and something that I really do my best to do. I don't always get it right, but that's my heart, and I'm very passionate about it. It links in with my principles, my values as well. Yeah, I'm also passionate about relationships and healthy, wholesome relationships. I think who I am is just a very passionate person. When I talk about things that excite me and are interesting to me, it shines out, and you can see the passion. So that's that. What is something that always makes you smile? Oh, I'm going to sound so cheesy. My husband, he always makes me smile. He always makes me laugh. Every day for all the years that we've been together, it is a guarantee that at least once a day he can make me smile. And obviously my children make me smile. The other thing that makes me smile is sunshine and nature, or just seeing spring. Spring makes me smile. Bluebells, snow can make me smile. Christmas lights, Christmas makes me smile. Okay, so the next question is, what is 3 coloring books on your wish list? So one of them is Enchanted Earth by Melpomene Chattopadhyay. The second one that I have on my wish list is Hannah Carlson's latest coloring book, which is Tales from the City Among the Stars. I do really like Hannah Carlson's books. And then I'm tussling up getting Kirby Rosanna's Alien World book. I've looked through it and it looks quite nice. So I'm in 2 minds about that one. And then I've also, I've got quite a bit on my wish list, but those I would say are 3 right now. I'm not currently aware of anything. I'm thinking of getting one of Erie's latest coloring books, like the fairy tale one. I'm also toying with the idea of getting another Clara Markova book. But I'm also, trying to balance myself there as well, because I do want to color in a lot more of the books that I already have. I do enjoy like the Creative Haven books, so I've got a couple of those on my wish list. What is my favorite random fact? So my favorite, a random fact. I can give you a random fact. There have been 3 new whale species discoveries in the past couple of years. And I know this because I was reading about it to my middle son, who really likes nature, and we were reading about whales, and I got curious to see if there'd been any new whales recently discovered, and there have been. There have been 3 distinct ones that I found, but the latest whale that has been discovered is called Rice's whale, and scientists are even saying that it is on the verge of extinction because of its very limited sort of population or territory, and its territory is often threatened by pollution, so plastic pollution, as well as wind turbines. And it's right off, I think, in the Gulf of Mexico. I stand to correction on that one. So that's an interesting random fact for you. But I'll give you a more comical life experience thing that you might find very funny. We hadn't been married too long. I think we'd been married maybe 2 years. My husband and I went with my in-laws on holiday to a game farm in South Africa. And we'd gotten some bicycles and we were riding around the game farm. Now, this game farm didn't have any predators, so it was very, very safe. And I disappeared in my thoughts. I was in my own world, and my husband and my in-laws are shouting at me, "Ailey, stop! Ailey, stop!" And eventually I heard them and I came to a grinding halt, and right in front of me walked this giraffe. Literally within 5 meters of me, it just walked across the path, and I stared up at this giant, and I was just in such awe. So there's a random experience for you, which is one of my favorite adult memories. What coloring book do you wish existed? I wish that a coloring book with more boys and men existed, in a similar way to how a lot of our coloring pages have girls and women. I would love to see more men, but I would also equally love to see more coloring books with ethnic women. I think that ethnic women are really, really beautiful, especially your African American, your African, even your Caribbean. I love just the beauty and the vibrancy of both the culture, the character, even Indian people. I just really love the diversity of culture, the beauty of the people. So I'd love to see more of that in coloring books, as well as the fauna and flora relevant to those areas. There's not a lot of coloring books that have African plants and animals. I mean, you have like your big five, your lions, your elephants, your rhinos, for example, but there are so many other beautiful African species that I think should be celebrated in the coloring book collection or the coloring books. But I would also love to learn more about the Caribbean, South America, India, even Asia. I'd love to learn more about the wildlife, the plants, the culture, even the architecture. So I would love to see more books celebrating the diversity and ethnicity within the global world that we all find ourselves living in. What is a challenge you have faced and overcome? I thought about this one, and one of them is probably a bit too personal to really share on a YouTube channel. But the other one, the one I thought would to play it safer, would be immigrating and changing countries has definitely been a challenge that I've had to overcome and face. I didn't realize when we moved how much it would affect me and how much of a challenge it would be. I didn't realize how much I would miss familiarity, or that you could go to a country that spoke the same language and still encounter differences in culture. I didn't realize that even the way we celebrate the same religion could be so different as well, and expressed in such a different way. There is much about immigrating that has been so good. and so beautiful and so right for us as a family, and we've thrived. But it's been hard. It's been hard to fit in. It's been hard to settle down, and I've had to step out a lot of my comfort zones. I've had to be challenged with a lot of the things that I thought was okay, and realize some of my preconceived ideas and misconceptions have actually been harmful or not necessarily fair. And I've had to adjust to some of that. I still really do miss sometimes the culture, the South African culture. As South Africans, we see the world slightly differently to British people or American people, just like any other ethnic group and culture would see things differently to the way a South African does. And becoming aware of that. And sometimes what happens is I could be in a conversation with somebody, and then next thing I know, I've done something very typically South African, and people don't understand or misunderstand, and so those sort of things can be a bit difficult. I miss the rhythm of Africa. There's such a beautiful rhythm in Africa, and the way Africans dance, the way that their music is. There is less of a reservedness in the African cultures as a whole, and none of this is a negative on British culture or any other culture, but to learn to integrate into a culture very different to your own has been something that I've had to work on and overcome. And sometimes it's been hard to do that. Sometimes feeling misunderstood has been quite big. And yeah, I've had to really grow up, I would say, in many ways. I've had to grow up and develop my own internal validation and myself as a bit of a coping mechanism. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for that, because I think it's helped mold and shape me more into the person I am today. So there's a lot of gratitude I have in my heart. And I would also say, like, even reaching out and making friends has had its ups and downs. It's not as easy to make friends in a foreign country as it is in your own country. And yeah, so that has been something that I found really, really challenging, and I've had to overcome. All right, so the final question is, what is the strangest food combination you enjoy? Well, I just really enjoy food. So one of the combinations of food I do like is having marmalade on toast and slicing up a banana and putting the banana on top. That, I think, is absolutely out of this world and delicious. I don't know if that's the strangest food combination I can come up with, but it definitely is a combination that I do like and enjoy. I don't eat it as much as I used to, but that's just because of the current way I eat at the moment. So yeah. Well, everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me and to let me share these questions and answers with you. I don't know if anyone would like me to tag them in this video. However, if you are interested in participating in this get to know me hashtag on YouTube, then do pop over to Amanda Colour's YouTube channel, where she lists all the questions in her video, and yeah, tag me so I can also hear about you and get to know you as well. And thank you so much for another lovely and wonderful chat and colour along. So thank you everyone, and until the next time I see you, it will be in another video, and take care. Bye for now.